Ever catch yourself looking at a spot on the wall like, wait a minute, is that, kind of moving?
Yeah, I think I know what you mean.
Well, when it comes to indoor fungi, that thought might not be so far off.
It's true.
So today we're going deep into the world of mold, mildew, all those little roommates we don't see invited to the party. And our guidebook for this deep dive, the fungal biology of indoor environments.
Great source. And believe me, there's way more to it than just tossing out that old bread in the back of your fridge.
I've had some dot experience with that.
We're talking like over 200 types of fungi, easy, just hanging out in your house right now.
200, really. Now, my house isn't that big, I gotta say.
It's not really about size, though, is it? It's about, well, opportunity.
Oh, God, what kind of opportunity are we talking about exactly?
Think about it, right? Dust, those tiny little food particles, even those skin cells we're always shedding, it's like a buffet for fungi.
So basically, I'm running a restaurant for these guys without even knowing it.
Pretty much. And we're not even factoring in all the stuff we do every day. Cooking, showering, all that adds humidity. It's like we're creating a spa for these fungi without realizing it.
Oh, great. So not only am I running a restaurant, but a spa, too.
You get it.
All right, so let's say I've got these unexpected guests. How big of a deal is this, really? Are we talking just a stuffy nose, or is it more serious?
Honestly, it can be a lot more than just a stuffy nose, especially for anyone with, say, allergies or if you've got any respiratory stuff going on.
Okay, that makes sense.
Being around certain fungi is only going to make those problems worse, right?
Right.
And then there's the whole mycotoxin thing.
He might go, what now?
Mycotoxins, think of them like the toxins some fungi can produce, Black mold, you've heard of that.
Yeah, definitely.
Prime example.
Right. But what do these mycotoxins even do?
Well, they can cause headaches, fatigue, and there's even research hinting at, more serious long-term health stuff.
Okay, yeah, that's definitely something I want to avoid. So how do we even figure out what kind of fungi are living it up at our place? Do I need to, swab my walls and ship them off to a lab?
Well, you wouldn't be the first. But luckily for us, scientists, they're amazing. They've come up with some incredible tech for this. There's this one, it's called real-time PCR.
Real-time what now?
Real-time PCR. Sounds complicated, but basically it lets these researchers take even a tiny dust sample, could be from your vacuum cleaner, and they can pinpoint exactly what types of fungi are in there. It's like having a microscopic detective on the case.
A microscopic Sherlock Holmes hunting down mold spores. That's pretty wild. So let's say we've met our fungal roommates. What can we actually do about them?
Good news is there are definitely some things we can do to make our homes a little less welcoming,
So like evicting them, but nicely.
Exactly. And it all starts with getting a handle on humidity.
You're saying I need to make my house less like a tropical rainforest.
Exactly that. We're talking good ventilation, open those windows whenever you can, run the bathroom fan after you shower, all that good stuff.
Makes sense. But what about those times when, life happens? Spills, leaks, things like that?
Oh, I hear you. Believe me. We've all been there. Those moments, though, that's when acting fast is super important. Something spills. Don't wait. Clean it up right away. Got a leak. Get that thing fixed ASAP.
So we're talking damage control. Got to be on top of it.
Exactly. Trust me, those little steps, they can make a world of difference when it comes to preventing, let's call it a fungal party, from breaking out.
Right. Better safe than sorry, especially when it comes to mold. So it's all about staying vigilant, not letting those small things escalate into a full-blown mold situation.
You got it. And hey, speaking of full-blown situations, sometimes DIY just doesn't cut it. Those really big infestations, whole different ballgame. That's when you call in the pros.
Okay, so we're talking like professional help, not just me, a bucket, and hoping for the best.
Exactly. Sometimes you need that expert who can really assess the situation, figure out how bad it really is, and then recommend the best course of action. They've got the experience, the right tools, they can handle those bigger problems safely.
So basically, like calling in a specialized SWAT team, but for mold.
That's a great way to put it.
All right, so we've covered some basics, but I'm guessing this is just the tip of the iceberg,
Well,
right?
absolutely, we're just getting started. For example, did you know that while they might be unwanted in our homes out in nature, fungi are actually crucial?
Really? Had no idea. I always thought they were, kind of destructive.
They're like nature's best recyclers. They break down all that organic matter, leaves, dead trees, and basically recycle those nutrients back into the ecosystem. And get this, they even team up with plants in these symbiotic relationships.
Symbiotic relationships with plants. Okay, now I'm really interested. I always pictured fungi as kind of, well, loners of the ecosystem.
It's pretty amazing, actually. You've probably heard of mycorrhizae.
Mycorrhizae, yeah, rings a bell, but
Mm-hmm.
refresh my memory.
So it's this whole network, right? Fungi and plant roots, they basically team up, like a microscopic partnership.
And how does that work exactly?
Well, the fungi, they're pros at helping the plants soak up water and nutrients from the soil. And in return, the plants, they're like, here's some sugar. Thanks for the help. They make it through photosynthesis.
So it's a win-win. But back to my living room for a sec. Are these helpful fungi giving my houseplants a boost, or is that not how it works?
Let's hope not inside your houseplants. But here's the thing, right? Those same processes, super beneficial out in nature, can actually cause problems indoors.
Uh-oh, how so?
Well, think about it. They're busy breaking down organic matter in the forest. But inside, that could mean they're affecting the materials in our homes.
Okay, so not so great for my wood furniture or that vintage rug I love. But seriously, how worried should I be about this? Is my house slowly being eaten by fungi as we speak?
I wouldn't say it's quite that dramatic, but you're right. Some fungi can definitely mess with building materials, especially in those humid spots where they love to hang out.
Right.
And remember those mycotoxins we talked about?
Oh yeah, those didn't sound good.
They can become airborne, and, well, that's not great news for our indoor air quality.
Airborne mycotoxins.
Mhm.
Okay, now I'm picturing some kind of sci-fi movie where mold takes over. So on a more serious note, what can we do to protect ourselves?
It's definitely something to be aware of, but the good news is scientists are always working on this, trying to understand these risks better. And of course, they're always coming up with new ways to fight back.
So, science to the rescue. What are the researchers working on these days? Give us a sneak peek.
Well, one big thing is finding even better ways to detect and identify indoor fungi, like super accurate and sensitive methods. They're using DNA sequencing, cutting edge stuff. It's pretty amazing.
So we're talking even more advanced than that real-time PCR thing. They're really stepping it up.
Exactly. And they're not just focused on identification. Researchers also want to understand the specific health effects of all these different fungal species, because here's the thing, they're not all created equal.
That makes sense.
Some fungi, totally harmless, others, not so much. By figuring out which ones are the troublemakers, we can be way smarter about prevention and how we deal with them if they pop up.
Okay, so it's like personalized medicine, but for our houses.
Mm.
Figure out exactly what we're dealing with.
Exactly. And speaking of personalized approaches, there's a growing movement towards using this thing called building biology, basically integrating it into how we design and build homes, even choosing the materials.
Building biology? Okay, that's a new one. Break it down for me. What is that?
So it's all about creating healthier living spaces, more sustainable too. It could mean using building materials that are naturally mold resistant, or even designing HVAC systems in a way that controls humidity and ventilation better. Being proactive.
So building a house that's basically unfriendly to fungi right from the start,
Yeah.
like a fortress that mold can't penetrate.
You got it. It's really cool stuff. There's so much potential there to change how we think about the places we live.
I'm all for that.
But that's not all. Scientists are also working on new antifungal treatments.
Antifungal treatments, like for my actual house.
Exactly. They're coming up with innovative ways to target and get rid of those harmful fungi, even the ones that don't respond to the usual treatments. And this is super important for places like hospitals, where fungal infections are a serious risk.
So it's like we're in a constant race against these microscopic invaders.
Yeah.
Always trying to stay one step ahead.
In a way, yeah. But it's not always about the high-tech solutions either. Sometimes the simplest things make the biggest difference.
Like what? Spill something, clean it up, that kind of simple.
Exactly that. Or even just making sure your bathroom fan is actually venting outside, not just blowing air into your attic. Little things like that make a huge difference in humidity levels, and that alone can discourage those fungi from moving in.
So it's all about being proactive with prevention, but also knowing how to handle those issues when they come up.
Exactly. It's about being informed, knowing what to look for, and at the end of the day, creating a healthier living environment for ourselves, our families, everyone.
Because nobody wants to live in a fungal jungle, right?
Right.
We've talked about the problem, the science, even some solutions. But what's the big takeaway? What should we really remember? It really is about understanding how to create a healthier space, right? But are there, like, specific danger zones in our homes, places where fungi just Love to hang out.
You're totally on the right track. Some spots are definitely more prone to, let's call it, fungal activity than others.
Okay, spill it. Where should I be on high alert in my house?
Well, picture this, a room that's often, shall we say, damp, a bit on the warmer side, maybe not the best ventilation. What comes to mind?
The bathroom.
Bingo! It's like a perfect storm for mold and mildew, especially if you're someone who enjoys a nice, long, steamy shower.
Guilty as charged. But seriously, what should I be looking for in the bathroom specifically?
The shower itself is a big one. Think about it. All that steam, that moisture hanging around after a hot shower. It's basically an open invitation for mold to move in.
Okay, so those grout lines, the caulk around the tub, those are prime suspects.
Exactly. And don't even get me started on shower heads. You'd be amazed how much those little guys can hide.
I probably don't want to know. Okay, so regular deep cleaning in the bathroom is crucial, but any tips for tackling those trouble spots? Asking for a friend who may or may not have let things slide a bit.
Hey, we've all been there. A good scrub with some bleach-based cleaner or even a mold and mildew remover can really do the trick. But honestly, prevention is key. Run that bathroom fan. During your shower, after your shower, even a few minutes extra can make a world of difference.
Right, got to get that air moving, less humidity, less chance of those spores settling in and throwing a party in my bathroom. So the bathroom's covered. What's next on our fungal house tour?
Let's head to the kitchen. Another popular spot for our little fungal friends. It's got humidity, plus all that delicious food they can't resist.
Okay, I see where you're going with this. Give me the rundown.
Think about it, right? Your sink area, damp sponges, dishcloths, even those little crumbs that always seem to find their way into every nook and cranny. And don't forget that tray under your dish rack, prime real estate for water to collect.
Okay, you're making me want to sanitize my entire kitchen right now.
It's all about those little habits, you know? Wipe down those surfaces regularly, make sure your sponges and dishcloths are getting a good cleaning and drying out completely. And hey, while you're at it, check that your sink is draining properly. Water buildup is like a welcome mat for mold.
Clean kitchen, happy homeowner, and hopefully way fewer fungal roommates. What about those areas we don't see every day, though?
You're thinking like a mold inspector now. You're right, those neglected spots are often the biggest culprits. Basements, crawl spaces, especially if they're not finished living areas. Prime breeding grounds.
Out of sight, out of mind. But maybe not the best approach when it comes to mold, huh?
Exactly. Even if you don't see it doesn't mean it's not there. It's worth checking those areas regularly, especially if you're in a more humid climate. And a dehumidifier down there, your new best friend.
Got it. Now, what about furniture? I've got some vintage pieces, carpets, curtains. Are those safe havens for fungi, too?
You'd be surprised, especially if they've been exposed to, say, spills or any kind of moisture damage. Just like with everything else, regular cleaning is key.
So keeping things dry and clean, those are our best defenses against a fungal takeover.
Exactly. Understanding how these things grow and spread, knowing how to prevent those ideal conditions, that's how we create a healthier living environment for ourselves and our families.
Because nobody wants to share their home with a whole colony of uninvited fungal guests. Well, I have to say, today's deep dive has been eye-opening. It's amazing how much we don't think about these microscopic things that are literally all around us.
Right. The more you know.
Exactly. And the good news is, we don't have to live in fear of these things. With a little awareness, a few preventative measures, we can coexist peacefully and create a healthier home for everyone.
Couldn't have said it better myself.
And for anyone listening who's ready to really dive into the nitty-gritty of indoor fungi, be sure to check out the full article from Carci, The Fungal Biology of Indoor Environments. They go into even more detail about all the fascinating things we talked about today, plus tons of practical advice on keeping your home healthy and fungus-free.
It's a must read.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Until next time, thanks for taking this deep dive with us. We'll catch you in the next episode.